as far as what you wanted to really go after when you kind of break down the new era of recruiting with the portal and sharing things you got to factor in?
Yeah, we wanted players at key positions that we felt like are hard to get in the portal. Like when you look at offensive linemen, you want to continue to grow through high school recruiting, grow your own guys, and then supplement when needed. And so to go out and get 3 offensive linemen, we thought was really key to us. And then we wanted guys we thought would be difference makers. Obviously whether it's a place kicker, this is a windy place, this is a difficult place, and so someone that we thought could contribute. We have a great kicking room, and Eck just wants to continue to bring talent into there. At the wide receiver position, we wanted a big outside guy, and we believe that we got that with Nayland, and we wanted someone the versatility of Larry who could play inside and outside, and just really competitive. Jamal, we want to run the football. I think we proved this year that a back can be featured here, and so we liked the running back room, and really Jamal was a premier guy on our board, and we were able to get him and then hold on to him. We like our tight end room. I just walked through the indoor, and Luke Lindenmeyer has the tight ends in there, and they're running routes right now. I mean, we have a really good room, and Luke Sorensen, I think Sat did just an absolutely great job on him. Got a guy we targeted, a guy who can play both Y and flex out. So hard to find guys who can do both. Defensively, want to stop the run. And part of stopping the run is eliminating explosives outside and being able to play man and load the box. And Danny Odom's one of the premier corners in the country, and so we felt like he was just a no-brainer, a guy that we went all in on, and love his competitive nature, love really everything about him. And Jace Reynolds was a guy that when he first came to camp, literally offered him on the spot. Really like his tape, but his traits are through the roof. And to me, he can play inside, he can play outside. So each guy was kind of hand selected. We've recruited a lot of guys the first couple of years where we have a big roster. We are a young team, and so it was just, hey, let's be really selective here now in this class. We continue to build the 27 class, which we think will be a special one as well. But just some guys we thought could come in, and I think a lot of these guys we think can play early, based upon just kind of their mindset.
What did you learn about Addison Williams in the process of recruiting Danny? Because that's a hard one to win, and he was able to help you guys win that.
Yeah, I think Addison's. I was on the road with him down in Florida and down in Georgia, and the way he carries himself, the respect people have for him. And I think if when you look at what he did with our guys this year, he played young players. They developed. They got better. They improved. So I think he's a premier coach and a premier recruiter. And I think given time, the key is now the consistency of Addison being here. 1, 2, 3, 4 years. I think he will build a stable of guys in that room that are all ready to compete and ready to play. And we like the guys that are in there already. And so to add a guy like Danny just was big.
Danny and any of the other defensive guys, were there concerns, or did you have to have any conversations here in the last 48 hours about the defensive coordinator situation and that they are maybe some uncertainty about what kind of a scheme they're walking into?
Yeah, I got on the phone. I talked with Danny and his grandfather, and I really appreciated their honesty. And I think a big key for them was, is Addison going to be here? And as I said to them, we've been a top 25 defense, let's say, the last 3 years. We're not going to scrap everything. This isn't like this major overhaul, get everyone out of here. Hey, it's just shuffling, And Addison is a huge part of the staff, and Addison is here. I think that was really important for Danny. I also said to Danny, hey, you're coming to play for me, and I'm here. And this university, this fan base, the facilities. I mean, he was at the game on Friday, and even though the game didn't go the way we wanted to, he still sees everything that's here again. So, So obviously, there's that when you do something like that on Monday, you'll see a lot of coaching changes today. You'll see a lot of coaching changes tomorrow. For me, I'm not going to lie to recruits. I'm going to tell them the truth, and they have to decide if they want to come here. And I think that's one thing that Danny's grandfather did say. So he speaks to the integrity of our program, that made the move that we made on Monday. You know, if we weren't sure, we would have waited, but you know, we knew the direction we were going, and it was best for everyone. I love John Butler. John's an amazing coach, an amazing person, and it's just, you know, he did a lot of great things for us. It just wasn't exactly the right fit for me in the way I am, and so it's probably more me than anything else. And he'll go on and have a ton of success, and his character, his work ethic were unmatched. But it was just, you know, hey, just the right fit for us moving forward, and you know, we're not gonna change everything, though. I think that was the main message to the recruits.
What do you think was the connecting factor with Claude and Puma to get him in this class?
Well, I think you know, EJ Barthel's done a great job of going up into Chicago and starting to open up Chicago back again to us. You know, we obviously have some commits there in following years, but Claude's just a phenomenal athlete, a great basketball player. And you know, I think he just always enjoyed the vibe here. You know, I think he just always enjoyed the people that he was around. But I think EJ just did a great job. I mean, EJ's a tireless, relentless recruiter, not just recruiting his position, but you know, everyone else. And you know, I think when Claude came here, I think, you know, he felt like home. Even on, just there's a character he has. Like he FaceTimed me on Monday, and the last 24 hours in recruiting in today's day and age now, I mean, I can't even tell you how crazy. And so, you know, you get a FaceTime on, you know, Monday, you're like, and he's just like, hey, I'm just checking on you. You good? I said, yeah, buddy, I'm good. Don't believe everything you read. I'm great. And so he's just a great person. The guy, just a lot of joy in the building. And I think he's one of the premier left tackles out there. So to get a premier left tackle in this class, I thought was vital.
Are all those guys coming early?
No, I believe Jace is coming in the summer, and Hayden is coming in the summer. Everyone else will be here early, and then, you know, as schedules allow, hopefully a lot of them will be able to be on the bowl trip with us.
What is the bowl schedule for you guys? When will you guys kind of begin getting into the heavy practices and things?
Monday, yeah. Dana and I were remarking today, I mean, like, we used to be on the road right now, you know, and then we used to have portal guys coming in right now. So you almost getting ready for the bowl game was like, it was like secondhand. I mean, it was just like, hey, you know, hey, the GAs, you run the practice. Now we can really spend some time next week working with guys and developing guys. And so next week will really be, Sean, a lot more like just pure kind of development. You know, we have a lot of younger players that I feel like are just like right there, and they're going to bust through. And the example I just gave on the recruiting show, so I hate to give it twice, but, you know, like you look at like Emmett, you know, like he's like a rotational player 2 years ago. Last year he's kind of a rotational starter. Even he's like, man, should I go he goes in the portal? What, you know, what's going to happen? I mean, now look at him. I mean, I'm upstairs. You know, we're trying to figure out, like, you know, hey, I'm trying to figure out what awards, things he's going to be invited to, what banquets he's going to. Is he going to the NFL right now? He has a breakout year. And so I feel like there's other guys that are going to have that breakout year for themselves. And so I think next week is really about that and laying a lot of eyes on those guys while also getting ready for our opponent. And then the following week, then we'll give them some time off to go, you know, if they want to go home for Christmas. And then if we think if it's a December 31st game, we'll fly the 26th.
So what do you,
Go ahead.
okay. Coach, obviously you still have the bowl game coming up, but a couple days after the regular season ends, when you reflect back, I mean, what are a few of the areas where you want to see the team improve from this point to next year, or maybe this week to the bowl game?
Yeah, as I said after the game, the last two games are just the last two games to give up 77 points. To not do that. I was really encouraged throughout the whole year. You know, even like USC, like that game, like I felt like we were taking control. Dylan goes down, TJ comes in, we're battling, we hold them to less yards than anyone else really had. Then we go out to UCLA, we battle, we win the game, and then for the last two games that happened the way they did was really disappointing. And that's why I've said to anybody listening, you know, people are frustrated. I completely understand and agree. But I am proud of the overall body that the guys did. You know, to get to another bowl, to win 7 games. We have to do more. And so there's a lot of things that have to be just continued to be developed. We have to continue to improve. we have to attack this recruiting class, and then we have to attack the portal when it comes. We have to keep our guys. We have to keep as many of our guys as we can, but then we have to also go out and supplement our needs. And then I just think a lot of guys, it's just another year of them getting bigger and stronger. I mean, even in that game, Riley Van Poppel, I just walked by, he played the way that we've wanted Riley Van Poppel to play. So you see guys, they start to pop in that third year, that second year, they start to figure out where they're at. So we would like to have a team next year that comes down the stretch and wins games. And so we've gotten off to good starts. We haven't been down the stretch as much as we want. And so I know Corey's going to look at it. I'm going to look at it. We're going to look at every single part of everything that we're doing. At the same time, double down on the things we're doing well.
What do you think Coach Campbell might examine?
Corey's the best. I mean, he's already talked about everything. So I had already told him, Sam, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I had said, hey, go study everything. Go study the times that we practice. Go study spring ball. Look at when we're doing spring. Some people do they come right back after the bowl and they do spring ball. Some people do it later. I said, look at everything. Look at the summer program because the rules are changing and you're getting people. I said, look at everything and let's just see if we can capitalize and do things better. We've gotten our program to a point of respectability where where it's not only a question are we going to go to a bowl, but we have to take the next step. And so, and that was before those last two games, And so We'll look at that. We'll examine that. We'll examine every single part of everything that we do, and try to make sure that when we come down the stretch next year, we'll have a tough schedule next year. We'll only have one bye. Can we come down the stretch better than we did this year?
What are you looking for in the next defensive coordinator?
I think for me, I want someone who it's not scheme. It's our play style and how hard we play. The reality is the last 2 weeks we haven't played hard enough. We were not the more physical team, and we had done that a lot of times. And so I want player development. I want physicality. I want effort way more than scheme. And so someone who can bring all that out in us. And I'm up there. Phil's meeting with every kid right now, and I think he's relaying that message for this next month, and that will be what we look for moving forward. There's a play style that we want, and I think it was on display early in our tenure here. It has not been on display quite as much, and even though the numbers were good, in this league, in this stadium, you better stop the run the football, and it's easy just to throw it on the players. I don't throw things on the players. There's only one rule working for me, and that's don't tell me the players aren't good enough. Don't ever say that to me. So you can evaluate and say, hey, this guy's got to get stronger. This guy's got to get bigger. Hey, we have a hole here. Let's go get this guy. I have no problem with that. But I want a coordinator who gets 11 guys to play as one. And so we'll kind of look at everything.
What kind of a piece do you envision Phil having in the future of the defense, and will he be involved in helping you interview, assess candidates in this process?
Yeah, right now I've kind of tasked him with this game, and so if I know Phil, he's going to go all in on that. So I'll do most of the preliminary stuff. I've also asked where Phil asked Mike Eckler to come over and help coaching on defense as well. So I think we have kind of all hands on deck. And then I'll take the preliminary part of it. And then, if at some point, I need some help, then, or need a second set of eyes, maybe I'll ask Phil or ask Mike. But, I think right now I'll probably do most of the work in terms of the coordinator search, and then trust them to get ready to play this ball game.
Is it essential to have a guy in place by the portal date by January 2nd?
I think it would be helpful. I think it would be helpful, but I don't think it's necessarily necessary. At the end of the day, we want to get the right guy. But yeah, I think it would be helpful. To get somebody that could be here and could plan a vision for people of what to expect kind of moving forward.
Is Snow a candidate?
I don't know that he is. I think that kind of the role he's in. I think it's a great role for Coach. You know, I mean, goes out and shuts the guys out in the bowl game. I might, but I mean, Coach is at a stage in his career where, I think he's in a perfect role for him, and I think he's kind of like the Yoda of our office, we'll explore all options. I mean, I certainly don't have the answer yet. We will, but not yet.
With the bowl game, do you have a sense yet of where Emmett Johnson is in his decision if he will be part of the process?
Yeah, I met with Emmett yesterday and just once again reassured him that no matter what he did, we love and respect him, and would support whatever decision he makes. He's got a tough one. This was an easy decision a couple years ago, before NIL and before all those things. It's a tougher decision now, but it's his decision. And so, I mean, he's at the workouts. He's doing everything. As an aside, Rocco Spindler won't play in the bowl game. He's going to have to go have surgery on that finger to. So I really appreciate Rocco playing with that, man. That was as gruesome as it could be. But to give him a fair shot to get ready for, I mean, he can't even bench press right now. To give him a fair shot to, go get ready for the combine or pro day or wherever he gets invited to, he'll have to go and start getting that taken care of. So which gives us another opportunity to look at one of our young guys and or one of our guys. So, but again, we appreciate Rocco. He's been a really good part of this team and helped us run the football the way we have. So yeah, I don't know Emmett's situation yet in terms of his decision. I'll leave that up to him.
Assuming you let the DC go on Monday and you were able to talk through it since coaching staff solidified, then do you expect any other changes moving forward?
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Do you expect any other changes on the coaching staff moving forward, or is it solidified for the rest of the season?
I'll take this time to kind of evaluate everything. John's situation was unique in that he's going to have some opportunities, and I wanted to make sure he got one of those opportunities. I mean, he's a really valued coach, especially in the National Football League. But I don't have anything in my mind right now. Hey, this is going to happen. So I just think you go through this time. Normally, I don't make things that quickly. But I felt like it was best, and so I did it then to be fair to him, to be fair to the recruits. But I don't anticipate anything right now. But I will continue to really look at everything.
How much say will the next defensive coordinator have with the defensive staff?
Say that one more time.
How much say will the new DC have on that side of the ball?
Yeah, a lot. Again, Addison. I think Addison is clearly someone who will be here, and I like the defensive staff. But the world we live in now, guys sometimes want to bring some guys with them. Like when Tony came in, he brought a core group of guys, and so we'll certainly have that defensive coordinator, and I think that'll all be part of kind of what we're doing. A lot of times if you want to get a working premier DC, you're going to have to buy him out of a place, and it's hard to buy out probably his whole staff. So it's kind of a little different than it was. There weren't a lot of coaching buyouts 8 years ago. Now there are. So it'll change everything. But yeah, we'll do the best thing that we can moving forward for the staff and players.
Assuming a good fit could be found, are you still looking at a high school quarterback to perhaps take Dayton's place in this class? We talked to a couple 26 quarterbacks, but didn't really feel necessarily like we should rush into a 26 quarterback. Given our kind of our quarterback situation, we have someone committed in 27. It just didn't want to rush, and so the quarterback world has changed so much now. There's so many talented players that are probably end up in the portal. I mean. If you need a quarterback, there'll be a lot of them out there. So I think we just said, let's. We talked to one young man, and but at the end of the day, just the commitment you have to make to a high school quarterback now financially too. I mean, it's just that money. That money's probably best placed somewhere else right now for us.
Coach, just one recruit from the state of Nebraska. Just what stood out from Jace, and then also just excuse me, just like what went into the decision to. I guess not recruit a ton of players out of the state.
Yeah, and congratulate. There's a ton of guys signing a lot of different places, and we're really happy for them. And I think over 3 years, our commitment to recruiting the state has been really solid. Jace was someone who just stood out to us. He was fast. He's athletic. At the end of the day, when we go to recruit somebody, we have to say to ourselves, hey, can we beat Ohio State with this person? Can we beat Michigan with this person? And so Jace was a guy, when we looked at his height, weight, speed, and all that we felt convicted on that he would.
some of the other ones didn't quite work out. Some of the other ones got offered early and they didn't want to come camp with us. I mean, it's just all those things happen. But my hope is always that everyone ends up in the right place. What I'd rather guys go somewhere and be happy than be unhappy but be in state. So I wouldn't say we didn't recruit them. It just didn't go all the way to the end. A lot of recruiting is evaluation, and we did the best we could with the information we had, and we'll continue to recruit the state. I want guys who love Nebraska and love this place. So we'll try to do the best we can moving forward.
I wanted to ask about Luke Sorensen. I mean, there's obviously a lot of tight end bodies from here to Anaheim, California, but you must have really liked something about him, and Satterfield must have too. What do you find special about him?
Yeah, I think I love his play style. Like, he plays really, really hard and physical. I love his maturity. I mean, like, one of the most honest guys. Even in the recruit. I mean, I remember he was at Penn State on a visit, and he sent a picture of like the names of everybody who played. My name on a brick. It's like, it wasn't a lot of lies. There wasn't a lot of anything. It was a lot of like just straightforward. I love the family. What's interesting is, even going back to the question before, while he's not in state, that's a Husker family. You know what I mean? There was a lot of ties to this state and family, from way back when. So. And he just fit in with our tight end room. I think our tight end room, Sat did a great job, but so did Luke Lindenmeyer, so did Carter Nelson and Heinrich and Eric and all those guys. I mean, they all recruited him, and I think that was one of the differences he felt was here the guys wanted him in the room, and other places it was just sort of like a position coach. The other thing I like about Luke, besides his play style, and besides just kind of who he is as a person, is his versatility. I think in today's offense, if you can play tight end, you can put your hand in the dirt, but then also play as a wing, but then also split out and play as a wide out, then you add something to the offense.
I'd say being 2020. I mean, how much was losing Bonner in that first game just tough for the offense because he kind of fit that role for you guys?
Yeah, we built a lot of things around Janirin, and he also brought an edge to our offense that we loved. He just brought a play style that we loved, and so that was really difficult. A guy that really came on this year, though, Sam, I think, and did a lot of those things for us was Caden Echternock. Caden obviously from Omaha and walked on here, and he's 260 pounds, and he took on a lot of those kind of running, making hard block roles. So, but we look forward to getting Wood back. I mean, he's big right now. He's strong looking, and so when he gets back, it'll definitely add something to us.
What's your vision, your expectation for Dylan over the next several months ahead?
My expectation?
Yeah, just your vision of what you want to see from him, how you think that these months will go for him.
Yeah, I think that Dylan's at a place right now where you're going through a hard time when you're injured, and what I've encouraged him to do is to embrace it and attack it. Like let it hurt that you're not out there playing, and consistently write down every single day, like, what are you learning and what do I need to do? Dylan made tremendous progress from year one to year two, but there's progress that needs to be made moving forward, and so I want to see him own that. I don't want it can't be Corey, it can't be Kristen, it can't be me, it can't be Glenn. I want to see him take it and run with it, even in this time, and so. Dylan's a tremendous worker. He loves to work at those things. I want to see him, but I want to see him make a jump. This is year 3 coming up for him, and he's got to become the quarterback that we all know that he can be. And that's honestly, in my opinion, will help him. But that falls on his shoulders, and I'm anxious to see him do it.
Who will start in that Spindler spot for you guys in the bowl game? Would it be Mac, or would you have somebody else?
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to say that yet. I think I'm sure if we went out there today, it would be Tyler. But I don't know. I haven't really talked to Donnie about exactly. We haven't really had those conversations yet. We've been so, recruiting focused, and me obviously with the coordinator change. I've been kind of on that. But I'm certain that if we went out today, it would probably be that. But it could be Sam. It could be Jason. It could be Preston. I don't know exactly how. And I think the next coming weeks, we'll have a chance to practice those guys. We're not going to go out there and beat up Turner Corcoran next week. We're not going to go out there and beat up Pritchett. Those guys play a lot of football, but a lot of those other guys are going to get a lot of reps, which I think is really important.
Is Latif will he
start Monday, ready to practice?
No, he's gonna have to recover from the hamstring. We'll be safe with him. I think the timeline should be that he'd be able to play in the game. We expect him to play in the game, but he won't be out there on Monday.
How many days will you practice this next week then, like all 5 days?
It's funny, Dana and I were meeting on that earlier. It'll probably be something like a 4-day week. And probably, since we can't have recruits at practice or anything like that, we probably won't have to use the weekends. We'll probably try to get, 4 days plus 2 days of lifting the next 2 weeks.
In last year, when you talked about the Pinstripe Bowl, you kind of said kicking off this season, right? Is that the same approach this time around, or is this time around maybe like get rid of what just happened the last 2 weeks?
Well, I think when I talked about last year, I think all bowl games to me are always about ending the season the right way and finishing what you started at a high level. And so, we're gonna play a really good opponent, and so, and we're gonna play a challenging opponent for us. And so, it'll be an opportunity for us. Sometimes in life, you have weeks like the last 2 weeks. You hate them, but they uncover a problem, right? And they show you like, hey, you better go address this and you better go fix this. And so the bowl game for us is a chance for us to go fix and address some of the things that happened these last 2 weeks. So I'm looking for growth. That then hopefully springboards you into next season. And, there's a lot of guys on defense. When I said after the game, and I had to be very careful after the game because as I said, I want to take extreme ownership of what happened the last 2 weeks. But I looked out there and I see Keona and I see Will Waneri and I see those guys and I see what I know that they're going to be, and maybe maybe tweaking the system and putting Keona here instead of here is going to so this month allows us to start to do some of those things, right? And so it to me it gets us moving into next season at a really high level. And you got guys in the secondary that have been waiting their turn. You got guys at linebacker that have been waiting their turn. And so we'll go attack the game, but really these practices are so unbelievably vital. Even just sometimes just to get a picture for somebody, you know what I mean? Like I walked over here and saw a couple of linemen. I was like, hey, these next 2 weeks are the most important weeks in your life. Not in a negative way, not no, I better prove myself, but in like, this is my turn to make the jump, right? And so I'm going to be going out there with that first group or with that second group, and let me show what I can do. And so, so I think it's really a mixture of both. We want to end the season the right way. We want to fix the things that happened the last 2 weeks. And then we want to go out there and kind of springboard ourselves into the future.
Pat Stewart was on the recruiting show, and I know he's more the portal person, but he kind of oversees your whole personnel department. How has he maybe adapted to this universe at the collegiate level, and how do you see him preparing for what's about to happen here in the next month?
Yeah, Pat oversees it all, really. So I mean, he's changed all of our evaluations. He's changed our structures. He's really modernized them. Sean Patton, who continues to work with us, has done an amazing job, like blending AI, and I mean the things that we're able to do now that used to take weeks now happen in 30 seconds, and so not many people could do that, but Sean can, and so they've really taken it and they've run with it, and Keith Williams really kind of underneath. Pat really handles a lot of the high school recruiting. That's not to say he's not involved with the portal, but that's the one thing when you come in from the NFL, you don't have experience at the actual recruiting part of it. You have experience at the value and vision and all that. So what I've seen is Pat's just constantly adapting, constantly growing, constantly learning. And the other thing is the rules are changing. They told us last week that there would be these rules and then all of a sudden now they're saying, hey, there's not going to be these rules. So it's a unique time, but I see them moving in a really good direction, and he, I think, is uniquely suited to handle the portal and all the things that are coming, right? And so, he's been through free agency for many years. He knows it. We have a good room back there, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to see how in which we can improve our roster.
Did you talk to him about like the quarterback room, the top of the quarterback room? Is there a scenario where you could have both those quarterbacks next year?
Yeah, and you guys know from me, I'm never going to talk about. I think this player might. I know that's a lot of things. I'm never going to talk about this guy might transfer. This guy might. I think we have a great setup, a great situation, and I would love to have everyone. I would love to have a world where none of our guys on our team transfer. To be quite honest with you, I think because even if they're not playing, that doesn't mean I don't love them and care about them. Some guys aren't going to play and they want to play. I get that, but we have a great quarterback room, and we'd love to have everybody come back and have a great quarterback room again next year. So that's Pat will work through that, and we'll be honest with everybody that comes to us. But yeah, I'm not going to, it's not good for me to live in a world of I think this might happen, I think that might happen. I think that's, that fatalistic thinking is not, it doesn't help, And again, I'm always going to protect the guys up here, so.
I think you mentioned on your.
Do you have anybody else other than Emmett who possibly has a decision about early NFL?
I don't know. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that. So there may be some other guys that do it. I mean, it used to be much more prevalent. Now, like I said, if you're a really good player, unless you're going in the first or second round, you're probably going to make more money in college than you are at the pro level. So you've seen the number of guys going off to the NFL dwindle. When you go and look at it, even guys who get drafted, once you leave college, there's not many guys. There's not a lot of football after that, right? So it's just the league is so violent, the league is so difficult that if you can make money in college, it's really worth thinking about because this money's guaranteed. The money at the next level is not guaranteed, and so. But I'm the one who sat there and told Deshaun last year, hey, you probably should go to the league. I told Todd, I'm always going to try to do what's right for the guys. There were some guys that were thinking there would be, Mitch, they were thinking there would be that 5-for-5 rule.
Yeah.
And they were kind of banking on it. But it didn't come to pass. So.
I was just going to say, you mentioned on your radio recruiting show that maybe the spring game would come back this year. Where is that, and how important could that be to bring that back?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think we want to bring, when they got rid of the May portal, we wanted to bring the spring game back. And I think it's what we're learning is, especially with some of the new rules, as they tweak them, that if we can have these major events here that get a lot of people here, it can help us. And so, even as you saw, like even camps and stuff of that nature are they're just declining, right? Just across the board. And so, we've already rethought a lot of our summer thoughts. Even things like the concerts that have been announced and all those different things. I mean, when we can put things around that to get people here, I think when people come here, they're ecstatic. And so we would love to have a true spring game and, fill the stands and have recruits come to it and just have it be a major weekend for us if it works out. There's some dates and issues, things we have to work through. And on the flip side of that is what I said earlier, we're also rethinking everything. So, there was a time when everyone thought it was going to be a May portal. They talked about you could do a small amount of spring ball and then you could do OTAs afterwards. And so that got all of us thinking hey, maybe we should do this now and this later. So I can't say that it's definitely coming, definitely here, but that's really one of our intents is to try to bring that back, A for the fans, and then B also for recruiting. I think it could be huge for us.
How are Malcolm Simpson and Tyson Terry coming along? Because I know a year ago at this time you were really excited they could help you this season.
Yeah, as you go back and look at hey, coming into it, those are two guys we factored in on the D line, and we think they're really, really good prospects. They're both just in the rehab process right now. They both had major surgeries, and so they're working their way back. Same with Juju Marks, on the offensive line. He's another guy that he's working his way back, and so they still have a long way to go.
How's just the rehab going for guys like Mac Markway and I guess Malcolm Hartsock as well?
Yeah, Malcolm won't be ready for the bowl game, but his rehab's going well. And then Mac, Mac obviously has a longer term rehab, and so he's I see him all the time. He's up, he's running, he's doing some good things. He's very focused right now, and so hopefully he can continue the path that he's on.
What about Jamarian Parker?
Yeah, JP, he's out there. He's working. He's put on a lot of muscle. He just needs some time. But yeah, Jamarian's a good young prospect that we're excited about.
He'll be practicing this month.
I'm sorry.
He's practicing this month.
Yeah, he came back and was practicing, and then went into the protocol, so he's working his way back. So I can't tell you exactly if he will or not. It depends on the doctor.
Demetrius Bell.
I'm sorry?
Demetrius Bell.
Demetrius is not back yet. Yeah, he's gotten close a couple times and then just unfortunately had different setbacks. But, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you.